All right, hi class, how's it going? So earlier we discussed about how to build the character out, and I've shown you all the techniques on how all the line tools work, but not actually building something out. And you've seen the final cleanup of this character. I'm going to bring him back. This is a character that I designed for a class. So I'm just go File, Import Images, and that's just going to import a JPEG. Now granted, you can sketch one in Harmony. In fact, I have some other demo too that I can give where I actually sketched out my characters in Harmony in a Photoshop bitmap style. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to import a JPEG that I have made before. So I'm going to go to Class Assets, Fisherman, JPEG, and say Open, and just say create single layer name using Fisherman1, and then import as Toon Boom bitmap drawing. Say no, keep as original bitmap. That's what we want. Fit, straight, okay. Now, it didn't fit per the way I wanted it to. So let's go to Layer Properties and then go to Advanced, say Center Fit, say As Is. There we go. As Is. That's what we want. All right. So I'm going to note that with the Animate guy on and the Free Transform tool, I tell all my students that this is home base. If you're terrified of what tool that you need to be selected, this is a safe place. This is a happy place. This is the element select tool. Note that when I select the element, right, it goes pink. And sometimes you need to boost the resolution of this. It's going to view bitmap file quality. You want to make that as high as possible. That what it does is Harmony dereses it for you just for ease of the graphics card when you're doing camera moves and panning through high definition backgrounds. So I went to view bitmap file quality. Note that it's grayed out because I didn't select it. Select it, view bitmap file quality, and then I boosted that all the way up. Okay, I'm going to lock it down, and now I'm going to start my cleanup process. And before I do that, I need to pick a I need to make a palette, and I'm not going to use the scene palette called Cleanup Demo, which is what I've called this. I'm going to remove this palette, and I'm going to add a new palette, and I'm going to call this one just quite frankly Fisherman. And I probably have this kind of palette, and I'm going to put it under the scene palette list for now. And that's fine. You use elements or put in things on the element palette list, like if you want to share individual elements. That's a whole other topic for another time, but let's just keep it like this, okay? So I say okay. And the default color is black. I'm going to call it L balance. And I always make L balance not RGB value 4, 4, and 4, just slightly not black, because if you do pre-multiplied effects on black, if it's set 0, what's 0 times 0, like anything times 0, and it's 0, and that pre-multiplication effect will not happen. So better to offset it a little bit if you're applying any kind of pre-multiplication effects. Okay, I'm not going to look so much at the network view or anything like that right now. So I'm just going to pull that off to the side, and I'm just going to add a couple of drawings. I'm going to go add, and I'm just going to add, we're going to call this one FM, we'll just call this one FM upper body. Let's say upper body, and then say add, and then another one we'll call, say, lower body. Say lower, say add, and then another one we'll say, you can say arm, I'll say arm front, say RNT, say add, say arm back, I'll say BCK, come on, say BCK, and we'll just start with that for now, okay, say add, and yeah, let's just do something generic, let's just say head. for now. I want to do hat though. And as you've seen, there was a previous demo about the hat. So I'm going to say add and close. Okay, so we have a few layers, or what we call elements. I prefer to call them elements and not layers, because that's what they are, the elements in the character of the scene. And what I'm going to do now is just start going back in using just this color L balance. And notice that in our palettes we have our brush color, our line color, and our fill color is all the same. You can link them so they're always the same, or you can unlink them so that they're independent. In this case, doesn't matter. So I'm going to pick my line tool. And you can also do a line build tool, and I like just using the line tool. And of course, some of this, my method of cleaning up, does go back to my Flash days, and this is how I do it. So for now, let's just go ahead, and I'm just going to pick the upper body. And I'm going to say FM upper body. And I'm just going to put a line down and notice that that is too thick. And of course, every time I go to a new tool, it's important that I pay attention to basically what the tool property is. And right away, I'm going to go to tool properties to figure out what that is going to be. I'm going to pick a 10-point, actually a 5-point line. Yeah, 5-point line style. 10-point line style. Let's see what a 10-point will give me. So 10 points fairly nice. And right away, I'm going to hit the D key. When I put something down, I want to see my stroke. So when I put something down right away, I'm going to notice that I need to see my vectors. So when I hit D, that helps me. And then I'm going to hold A to pull it. What is the A key? A is this one right here. This actually bends and gives me Beziers if I circle these points. Right? This actually is this shape changer. All right, so I'm going to hit Option N to go back to my line tool. I talked about this in case you missed it in my previous tutorial. All right, so if I hit Option V or Option A, I can circle this point, and I can also nudge it up with my arrow keys like a video game. Say, that's where I want it. Okay, so I'm just kind of doing the upper body right now in this region. And I'm just going to go back and, I need contour snapping on. And what contour snapping does is, if I click this button, what it will do is it will actually snap to contour. Notice that it actually does snap to the contour, or it will fuse the points together. And you want that. You want your lines to connect. So I'm going to hold A and bend, pull up, hold A and bend. And this is a stick shift, guys. This is not an automatic. Okay, you've got to have both. You got to have one hand on the wheel, meaning the mouse, and the other hand on the stick, meaning the keyboard. I have a lot of students who just kind of get lazy with it, and they're just like hum to hum. They don't really pay attention to. They're just always just using like one-handing this thing. I'm going to add just like the belly area right here. I'm going to zoom in, and here's the thing too that you guys need to know, guys, is that I am using deliberately the most boring, uninteresting line style you can possibly have or use. You know what? I'm not liking that I'm using 10-point. Let's use it back to 5. There we go. Let's go to 5. And I'm going to pull that out. Pull that out. And then now let's go to 5. And the reason why I'm using this most uninteresting line quality or line style is so that I know that I'm getting a little bit something of accuracy if this boring, uninteresting line style actually looks halfway decent. So that when I am ready to do a good line weight or line thick and thin and add those things, it's going to look even better. Okay, maybe I just put a little bit of there. Now this is telling. See, this shows me that this is not closed. It looks closed, but it isn't closed. So I just pull it back and charge forward again. And I circle a point. There we go. And just finesse these things. Okay. And actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw through this as well. So I'm going to just connect that. I'll deal with that a little bit later. Okay. So, and see how crunchy that sometimes this fights you and is against you. This is like the Flash equivalent to the magnet tool. And sometimes that magnet tool or in this case the contour edit tool, it doesn't let you finesse anything. All right, so we have this upper body piece, and that seems to be doing, okay. And I guess I'm reasonably happy with that. I don't like some of those hard corners. See, and this is what I mean. It's like in a boring line style, if I'm seeing kind of some things that are just like kind of like hard corners or things that aren't that great, I want it to look as good as possible in this method of this line style as I can. Because like I said, once I go to those really nice thick and thins, I'm going to have it look that much better. Okay, so we're going to go just the lower body, and I have a belt on it. And if I want, I can just turn this off, the upper body, and then go to the lower body and make another pass at it. So here we go. One of the things I'll do is just do this. See, and then I can get to a nice, really, like by pulling it, I can get a really nice half circle shape. Right? I'm going to go across, pull down, I circle points so that I can make those beziers, or make that, wrap it around, as my drawing teacher used to say at the academy. Get some nice shapes. I'm going to go like this to this for the belt. Oh, I don't like that it did that. And undo is always okay if it does something you're not happy with. And there's a little buckle here that I have, right? And then we just put, why don't we just put a little like notch right there? Okay, and then he has a pocket. All right, and that's fine. All right, so that's his lower body. I'm going to actually continue this shape up and over. And this might be redundant because I did it to the upper body. We'll see how that all turns out. Okay, I'm going to continue this lower body stuff all the way down to the feet. Why not? And I'll see, and if you do this, you can always separate it out later, right? So there's no law that says it has to be all, if you do it all in one layer, that might get you in trouble a little bit. Let me see. Nah, you know what? That is a mistake. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do another layer. Let's say leg. Yeah, so let's add a new drawing. We'll say back leg, FM back leg. Say shift FM leg VCK. Add FM leg FRNT. Add and close. So I'm going to say leg front. Let's not get lazy with it, Jason. Just do it right. All right, pull. And eventually, yes, I'll separate out the feet. I'll do the foot. Give that its own layer. And right now, I'm just building this as I go. Just circle that, nudge it up, push. And I'm just going line by line. This is how I build things in Flash too. This is the common denominator with Flash. What this has in common with Flash. This is how you would do some cleanup. You would do the lines, or you would find a shape, that you want to use. Okay. Then I'm going to go in here, find an ellipse. Really too thick of an ellipse. I think it auto-filled too. I don't think, did it? Yeah, it auto-filled. Whoops. So I'm going to bring that down to a 3-point. Squeeze out. There we go. Okay, so there's enough here that you kind of get the idea and get the gist of what I'm trying to do. If I go through this entire character, that might not be okay. Let me take a look at that upper body. I'm not going to use this, so I'm going to just get rid of this piece here on the upper body. I'm going to use a lower body piece. There we go. All right, so that was just this shirt. So let's say that I take all of this, and then it's like this very uninteresting, boring line weight style. And if I'm going to take the upper body, for example, I'll select everything in this upper body region, and I'm going to just select tapered beginning pencil thickness. And I'm just going to make sure that the tapered beginning pencil thickness has a maximum line weight of 5. Let's try 7 to keep it interesting. There we go. And I'm going to turn off line weights, and I'm just going to see how that came out. Say, okay, so cool. So I've got some things that now I have some really nice line work that I can work with, and I'm going to just start taking these lines and I'm going to flip their orientation. This is the flip orientation button. I'm going to say flip. In this case, I might choose a different style like fat ends. So I'm going to go through here, say fat ends, say 7, right? And remember, any of these line styles can be copied. So I'm going to say flip. Make sure that nothing gets broken in this process. Flip. That's fine. This one I might just do an overall tapered, right? 7 point, right? And then this one as well, I could do fat ends. So in this case, I can just say pencil editor, just say copy and paste. There we go. And then the same way, I'll do the same here, paste. There we go. So now we have some really nice thick and thin styles. Sometimes you'll get something like this, okay? And you'll see this little bulge out here on the back, and that isn't working. So what you can do is see what a flat end cap will give you, and that's not quite right either. So what you do want to do is you can do two things. You can try and match it so that, and in fact it goes, this way, right? And let the artwork guide you. Maybe this is the right way it should be, right? And then maybe it should be tapered and not fat-ended, right? So let the artwork kind of tell you, well, maybe this is a better method, right? But let's see. Now, I kind of like the fat end there. But maybe if I flip the orientation of that guy, I might get away with it. And on this case, maybe just a uniform line style will be just fine. And just say 7. There we go. Let's do it that way. Okay. And it doesn't have to, not everything has to have a tapering to it, right? You can just say, you know what, I'm just going to keep these uniform. This one and this one. And you know what, if you want to heal that, you can merge it by hitting the heal button. Say 7, and then there we go. This one, I can pull it out a little bit more so that I get a little bit more of that tapering that I like. Bring that down to a minimum size. Let's say 5. Let's leave that. That's fine. Okay, so now I'm getting some nice thick and thin line styles, right? And then here I can just do my 5 fat ends there. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I like that. 7. Yep, and then here. And so I'm going to copy that. Pencil editor, copy, paste. This is a load of fun to me, you guys. It really is. It's a real joy to see what this program can do. And so now I have something that's a lot more interesting to look at in terms of tapering. And so if I have lines that I like that I want to reuse again, I can just usually copy like Command C, and then I can just use them again, right, and somewhere else. So if I like, for example, like this line, so style, say copy, and then I can apply it over here to say the foot, right, and say, where's this foot, or this leg front rather. I can just say, I want it right there. Boom. Now it's nicely tapered, right? I like it right there. Boom. Done. See, so we got some nice edges there, right? I like it here too, and there. This is really, really starting to work well for me, right? It's really fun to see what it can do. So this is building the character out, and eventually what you end up with as you slowly build it up, and I'll show you the final touches in the library. Don't worry so much about, you can sort this out in the network. If you want, you can take everything that you have in the network, hit this button up top and just say OK. It'll fan it out for you in a composite, and it'll just organize it and clean it up for you nice and neat. Oops, I left one behind. And that's what you want. You want nice and neat, clean rooms, clean networks, nice and organized. So anyway, and to show you what it's supposed to look like in the end, I'm going to turn all this off, hit D, bring in the cleanup. I have it grouped. And in the end, yeah, he's supposed to look, right, oops, like this, right? And so we have everything nicely tapered. Everything goes through itself. Everything looks good and clean and organized. I like these. I like the notice I did the shoe treatment a little bit different than I remember. Had some dotted lines right there. But yeah, overall, I added this color card. Let's go ahead and add a color card to make it just a little clearer. Overall, I like it, and I added some details here in the nose, like a little bruise in the nose to give him some age. Okay, and then you'll see that I have all of these layers, but I don't have every layer. I just have, kept it simple: the body, the head, fishing pole, arm, leg, and then eventually I start breaking it up. I'm just interested in cleaning it up at this point, then adding more and more layers and dividing it up. But this is what I want to see from you guys. I want to see you draw through your characters and clean it up and get it to this level. Okay, guys, that's it for building out your character. I hope you have good success with your characters. Keep it simple, something like this, guys. Don't get yourself into a really super detailed hole. Get some nice straights versus curves and keep it manageable so that you can rig it with ease. All right, guys? And that's it. Till the next one. See you later.